everyone, welcome to my channel. And it's been a while since I spoke about semantic kernel, so I thought to make some more videos with this. And in this video what I'm going to show you is how to get the structured output from the OpenAI. So let's say you are asking some question to OpenAI that which is the tallest building in this world. Can you tell me the city name and the height of that building? So in this particular prompt you are expecting only the city name and the height of the tallest building. So in that case we want to extract only the city name and the height of the building. So apart from that we are not interested in any other details. So for that city and the building length or the height, we have already defined our custom classes in our code. So how can we get that kind of output using this particular semantic kernel? And that's what we are going to look today. And before I get started, if you are watching my channel for the first time, I would quickly point you to my playlist. So this is my semantic kernel playlist, and here you will find around 10 videos overall. So you will get to know how to get started, what are the basic elements, what the semantic kernel is all about, how to use prompt template, how to use YAML file with your prompt. So all these things, how you can invoke the function, how you can get started with preserving your responses. So all these things I have already covered, and today I'm going to make another video which will be sitting on the 11th number, and this video is all about how to get the structured output. So let's quickly get started. So I'm on my VS Code and I have already installed semantic kernel in my virtual environment, and these are the packages which I have imported. So once these packages are done, we are good to get started. So let's first define the class or the structure in which we are expecting the response. So in my case, I want to create a class population detail and want to extract the country name and the population out of the OpenAI's response. So for that, I'm going to create a class population detail. And here in this we need to pass in kernel base model, which you can see from my packages that it is from the Pydantic. And this base model will tell the OpenAI that what kind of structure we are expecting. And here I would simply say country name. Definitely you can define your own classes or the parameters, but I'm just going with the bare minimum. And then I'm saying population, which is of type integer. Let me quickly execute these cells. Okay, so our class is ready. Next thing is we need to define like what would be our service or what service we are using. So I'm going to use OpenAI chat completion. So for that, let's first define the service ID here, and you can give any name. I would just say formatted output. And because this is the service ID which has to be unique and we will be using across all our function calls. So next we are going to instantiate our AI service, which is OpenAI chat completion. And in this we will go with the bare minimum parameters. The first one is AI model ID, and let's go with the GPT-4o mini. I think that would be sufficient to showcase this. Then we need to provide, these are the various parameters here you can see. Then I'm going to provide service ID. So let's say service ID is the one which we just defined above. And the last parameter is our API key. So this API key I have already defined. In your case, either you can read it from here, you can hard code it, or you can set it in your environment variable, whatever it feels like doing. Now we have the service ready. We are sure that this is the service which you are going to use. Next thing is we need to associate the service with the kernel, and because that's what semantic kernel is all about. So whatever the services we are using, we need to bind that or associate that with the kernel instance. So I'm going to create a kernel instance. So before creating that, make sure that you have this kernel imported from the semantic kernel. So let's make it kernel. Okay, and once this is done, I'm going to add our AI service to this. So we'll say add service. Inside that, I'm going to pass in my AI service, which I just created above. Okay, next thing is we need to define the execution settings, like what kind of execution settings we want, the parameters, the temperature, what are the how many top results are we expecting, and all those things. So that is the next thing which I'm going to do here. So I will just call it execution settings, and we'll say kernel dot get prompt execution settings. So let me take it from this. As that's the reason I said that you need to define your service ID, because that is the one which we are going to use in our entire flow. Now we have our execution settings ready. We will quickly go ahead and set the required parameters. The first one is, I would say, 1000. The max token is 1000. Then we can define the temperature. So these all are optional. You can change this or set it based on your requirements. You can even omit this and go with the default settings. And the last one which I am going to do is top P. So let's set it to 0.8. And now comes the most important parameter, which is the format. So to define the format, you just need to set here the response format. So response format is nothing but the class in which we are expecting our output. So this is our class name, population detail. So I'm going to just paste it over here. So now we are done with our all the settings. Next thing is, let me quickly define here system message as well, so that we need not to remember that part. So system message would be the message which you want to tell. So I would say, oops, you are an AI assistant that helps people find information about countries. Okay, so I believe this much system prompt is enough for us to experiment. So let me quickly execute this, and we'll just collapse these so that we won't see the clutter screen. Okay, now the next thing is we need to define the function, because in kernel everything is done through in semantic kernel everything is done through the function, and function is that one place where we are going to bind all these execution settings or some external functions which we are going to call, the plugin name, everything will be defined over here. So I would create a variable name, let's call it functn. Then I would say kernel dot add function, and inside this we will be defining our prompt, plugin, everything. So the very first thing is the prompt. So prompt, I would associate my system prompt here, and then here we need to define the chat history, whatever the chat history we have. So I will let you know how we are constructing the chat history, but let's go with this one. And then we'll say, here I need to provide the name. So here I'm defining my chat history. Then I need to define the function name. So these are the very important, or I would say the mandatory parameters. You have to define it. You cannot omit these parameters. If you don't want to supply this, then you need to invoke the different kind of a kernel function if you don't want to use this one. So let's say if you are expecting only the prompt to be supplied, then definitely you have a different function, which you can definitely check it out in my other videos. I have mentioned about that. Then we have the plugin name. So define some plugin name, which is again has to be unique. So I'm giving this, and the last one is the execution settings. So this execution settings is the one which we have just defined above. So we are done with our function. Let's execute this cell as well. Okay. Now we are going to define the chat history part. So for that, let's create an object named history, and chat history we have already imported. Let me quickly show you. So here you can see we have already imported it from the semantic kernel contents, and this is nothing but it will just keep a record of what all messages or the chat or the conversation we are having between us and the OpenAI model. So I would say add user message. And this is our prompt. So I'm going to ask, what is the population of, let's say, United States? So we have this prompt. Next thing is, I will quickly execute this cell as well. Now we just need to invoke the kernel. So for that we will say kernel dot invoke. And in this we need to pass just two parameters. The first one is the function to which everything is associated, and the next parameter is the chat history. So I believe this is the parameter here, chat history, equal to the one which we just created above, so that is history. Okay, let me execute this just to make sure that there is no error. Okay, so it is executed. Next thing is we need to see the results. So for result, what you can do, if you want to see what this result is all about, I can quickly show you that first. Okay, you can see anything because it is again an object, so I need to reach till that particular level where I can show you the response. So I would say inner content, and inner content we have choices. I think we have already done this part, so I'm not doing anything fancy here. You must have already got an idea of what we are trying to achieve. And here I'm saying content. Let me execute this cell. So looks like I did some mistake. It should be so inner content. So I forgot to add a wait here because it is an async call, and that's why we were not able to see anything inside the results. So now let me quickly show you how this result looks like. And here you can see the response. So it is a long thing, you may not be able to read everything, but let me run the statement now. And here you can see the output was actually let me point you to that line. So just bear with me, I'm trying to reach to that point. So in this response you will see that it has already, here you go. So here you can see that under messages you are already having country name and the population. So that's what I'm trying to extract over here, and when I executed this I was able to get the country name and the population. So these are the two fields which we defined in our class. So that's how we can extract the details based on our custom classes. So now even if you have nested classes, this will still work. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and do let me know what other topics are you looking forward for with respect to semantic kernel, and I will try to make videos on that. Thanks for watching.